I know anime and manga fans thought they were safe from Sony, but they're not. Sony is coming for everybody. They are not playing games. They are not playing games. So, Sony, if people don't know, Sony owns Crunchyroll. And they've been slowly but surely kind of pulling back on the production of DVDs and Blu-rays and printed manga on all of their sites. You can't really find it in stores anymore. And people are starting to complain. And it turns out that this isn't like a coincidence. This isn't like a like some sort of like freak shortage of like this type of media. It's actually a decision. Like Sony is actually not just ending the production of video games or their physical media for video games or gaming in 2028. They're also slowly ending the production of their physical media for anime and manga as well. And the fact that they're doing this is really stunning because gaming, I guess you can make a an argument for. You know, they can have more control over their products. They can, you know, cut out the middleman, etc., etc. But anime and manga, yeah, you know, they can cut out the middleman with that as well. They can you know, reduce the cost of physical, like, you know, like cases and you know, the paper they use for the manga, etc. You know, it's, you know, you could make sense of that, but it's they have, like, as far as the middleman goes, that's not much of an argument because most of their products for Crunchyroll were actually sold on their site. So that doesn't make much sense in this case. You know, they sold most of it on their site. Crunchyroll, like, you know, the IPs they have access to, most of those IPs were sold directly through them. And the only decision or the only logical reason I can see as into why they would do this is just purely greed. Purely greed. They want to make sure that even manga and anime cannot be owned. So if you want to read manga, you have to do it directly on Crunchyroll, and you have to get you have to get a subscription for it. You have to get there's different tiers of the subscriptions, and I think one of them is like extraordinarily expensive, and that's the one that gives you access to like all the manga that they have, you know, the rights to. And then when it comes to the anime, and again, I double checked eBay. All the anime that they used to produce directly through Crunchyroll, like the officially licensed anime, all of that stuff is being sold for hundreds of dollars on eBay. Like Black Lagoon is a great example. That jumped up by an astronomical amount. And it's only going to climb higher. This is really, 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 really terrifying, guys. But yeah, all those anime, like IPs and series, all of them that had original physical releases, all of them are skyrocketing in price because all the collectors are starting to see that Sony is not producing them anymore. And this is really, really going to make the collection of manga and anime like a rich man's game. Like you can only like participate in that hobby if you have a lot of money. The time of, you know, that being like a hobby for, like, you know, weebs and people who live in their parents' basement and people who, you know, don't have a job, you know, they can use their unemployment check to buy, you know, anime and manga. That time is over. That time is over. Now you're gonna have to have like a like a hedge fund or you know, be a descendant of a like extremely wealthy family to be able to just buy whatever you want when it comes to anime and manga. You know, Sony is just trying to make sure that you own nothing and you're happy with it. Well, not happy with it. You'll own nothing and just keep your mouth shut. That's essentially what they're going for now. And like I said, like again, I can apply the logic of doing it to gaming, but I can't apply the logic to doing it to anime and manga. Um, Aside from just straight up greed, there's no excuse for this at all, guys. They're just trying to make as much money as they can, and now, when Sony bought, because they did the same thing with Destiny 2 and Bungie, but when Sony bought Crunchyroll, again, the conspiracy theorists said that there's something wrong here. Why is Sony buying Crunchyroll? What's going to happen to all of our anime, manga, all of our collectibles? When it's owned by this essentially this evil corporation, what they believe to be an evil corporation. What's going to happen? But again, people like me and all the other fans, wave them off. Oh, it's okay. Sony has big plans. They're going to make things better. They have a multi-billion-dollar company to make Crunchyroll a better site, and update their software, and they can produce more anime and more manga for us to purchase, because they have so much money. And of course, with our fan support, they'll be able to recoup their investment. But now, because the conspiracy theorists said that the real reason they're doing this because they want to make more money. They can see this as a financial opportunity, and they're eventually going to start implementing certain protocols in order to increase their profit margins. And we waved them off. We said that they're nuts, and now here we are. Now I look like a fool because I I should have seen this coming because I was warned about it, but I ignored it. So, guys, let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Am I overreacting? Is this a good decision? Let me know in the comment section. I've been on Act Clear. You guys have been amazing, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right? Peace.